Hey brother. Yeah, brother. Hey brother. Hey brother. Hey brother. Hey sheepa brother.
GM, welcome back to the channel. Market update coming here for you. We got Bitcoin at 59.7k this morning, some news across the crypto space, and a podcast for you to check out at the end of this one also. So let's jump in. So Bitcoin here kicking off the day, 59.7. So we're up a little bit, but it has been very lackluster the last few days since we pretty much had a bit of a pump and dump BART-based price action. 59.7, not the best, but it just looks like continuation of this chop sideways and down into what is hopefully going to be a very bullish Q4. I know a lot of people's hopes resting on this, hopefully more certainty around elections. Also, summer generally for TradFi is a quiet period, so going to see people back at their desks post Labor Day, so like next Tuesday onwards, which could provide some impetus for us to actually stop this kind of autopilot, which I kind of feel the markets have just been an autopilot here, and we've been chopped up over the summer. It is what it is. ETH BTC yesterday had a pretty good day down here. You can see a big spike off the bottom. Suzu pointed out on Twitter that ETH was being bought up on Bitfinex by whales who were seemingly offloading positions in BTC to buy ETH, so maybe putting in a bit of a bottom for ETH here in the 2400s, which does seem very low for ETH. Then moving on, we had a bit of a bounce back in the DXY yesterday as well. That's up to 101. So as you would expect, downtrends, supports, axis supports, maybe a bit of a bounce, and then potentially a retry lower. Sol ETH also in an interesting position here, come above swing failure pattern, and then back inside this range as ETH had a good day yesterday, pretty much flat on the daily today. But that battle between Solana and Ethereum, which you would expect over the long run of this cycle, Sol will continue to outperform. But we're seeing resistance being put up here by ETH on that battleground, and this coming back inside the range. Who knows, maybe we'll come revisit range lows. Into the market sentiment here, we have fear and greed flashing at 29. So a continuation of the reset, which is pretty good to be fair, because you do want to see really poor sentiments and climbing of the wall of worry out of said territory into more bullish pastures. And we did have greed just swell back into the market when we hit 64, 65k over the weekend. And then we've dumped back down and people's emotions have got the better of them yet again. So kind of like last cycle when we first kicked off the major first leg of the bull market where Bitcoin broke out, and then you had a big follow through with the altcoins. It was at that time people were most depressed thinking back. Sentiment was down the pan, and also you had people pretty much giving up, which I think is similar to what is occurring right now. And you're seeing this kind of time-based capitulation, and everyone can feel it. Everyone's in the same boat. It's bloody boring, but it is what it is. Following up on yesterday, so did a video on Startail, Sonium, A-Star, that whole conglomerate pushing Sony into Web3. But Prime Minister Fumio Kishida yesterday talked about Japan's path into Web3, and there will be tax and legal reforms to help startups in that sector. So they are going to be pushing their Web3 adoption. I think this is going to be very interesting to see how a very tech-savvy country approaches this, and they have great distribution behind them with Sony. Definitely one to have on the radar. Earlier in the year, they actually allowed for venture capitalists and investment firms to start to be allowed to invest into crypto tokens. So I would expect some follow through with this in the coming months. So this is just a narrative cooking on the back burner. Into Telegram news, Pavel Durov here, who is 39, looks very well for 39. Pavel Durov, chief exec of Telegram, to face further investigations over allegations that he allowed criminal activity on the messaging app. So the French pretty much saying he is responsible for good behavior of all users of the Telegram messaging application, which of course is a nonsense. And this is a very worrying trend for software more broadly. French judges have barred Mr. Durov from leaving France, which is a punishment in itself. And he has been given 5 mil bail. So obviously that was posted. This was interesting. Kim.com posted According to French police, Pavel flew to Paris because he was invited to dinner by Emmanuel Macron. So the old bait and switch. Macron, come to dinner with me. And then there was police waiting for him at the airport, which is pretty scumbag behavior and a worrying trend across Europe. Time to look for a second passport. Then we have this. So breaking news, Solana-based prediction market bets on Drift from Drift Protocol has flipped Polymarket's 24-hour volume for the first time. The bet market has only just been live for like maybe a week. For Drift Protocol, Polymarket is obviously well established at this point in time, posting some pretty good numbers, did 12 mil yesterday in volume, lots of 20 mil plus days, but 20 mil was posted yesterday on Drift. But there's only 4 markets up on here. If you just go to the bets area, it looks like it's this market here. Total bets, $21 million pretty much. Will Kamala Harris win the popular vote in 2024? Now, maybe there's just a bit of market making around this. I don't really believe that they would have flipped. I don't believe they're going to consistently flip Polymarket, who have a lot of social attention on them, a lot of mind share right now. So I think the numbers here could be, a little bit of cooking the books going on, but definitely something to monitor going forward because prediction markets clearly a major use case and product market fit within crypto. So we'll monitor this space. Then in very interesting news yesterday, we have OpenSea receiving a Wells notice from Gary Gensler at the SEC. Devin Finzer here. We've received a Wells notice. Us, Coinbase, Uniswap, Robinhood, Kraken, Consensus, all of them in the same boats. So SEC threatened to sue us because they believe NFTs are securities. This is pretty damn funny. This is essentially saying that baseball cards are securities, because what's the difference between a baseball cards and pretty much baseball cards with a bit of metadata stored on a blockchain? Not a lot in my mind. So the question for you guys today, is this a security? Because Gensler thinks that that is an unregistered security for sale. Bored Ape Yoga Club. Then into the whale alerts here. We've been seeing lots of big movements across whale alerts over like the last few weeks, really. Quite a lot of dollars being minted, big moves of BTC as well. I do think there's some of these though, because I was darting through a few. There's these movements of 8,000 Bitcoins from Binance or Coinbase, some of the big exchanges, and then seemingly they just get split between 50 wallets. So I think these are maybe unmarked hot wallets for those exchanges. And what I've been seeing is a trend that people are saying the exchanges are getting more and more illiquid. There's not that much inventory left on the exchanges. And some of these big companies like Binance have been moving funds from their cold wallets into hot wallets. So I do think we may actually be close to a point in which there's going to be a major supply shock and prices will start to tick up, which would make sense with the Q4 being bullish thesis that we're just really depleting all the supplies on the market. You're seeing really ruggy price action with people just being liquidated by market makers for fun, just sending the prices up, liquidating the shorts, ragging them back down, liquidating the longs. Does seem like something is brewing in the background there. Then congrats to anyone who got in with this one last week when we first mentioned it. This was a great shout by Grant over at Blockmates. Check out the link down below for the meal deal for alpha like this. It's gone from like 7 cents to 24 cents today, and it's gathering a lot of mindshare in the DeFi space. Now, if you want to learn about Dyad, which is the stablecoin, and Kerosene, which is the kind of utility token behind Dyad, which allows you to max out your loan to value ratio, well, check out the interview Grant conducted just 19 hours ago. Dyad's Kerosene, could it be the big next thing in DeFi? So Grant and Joey sat down on Still Early Pod. I'll link this one down below as well, because if you want to get within 1 hour up to speed on what Dyad is and how the protocol works, it is similar in ways people are suggesting to Terra Luna, but he has mitigated the potential for death spirals, and it's a very intriguing design here. This is the Dyad stablecoin. TVL is $21 million right now. It's been going up like a hockey stick, especially in this month here of August, going from like 4-5 mil up to now 20 odd, as people are getting used to the protocol, and starting to mint dyads. So that is the kind of token behind it. Kerosene there, market cap is $21 million. We'll see where this thing's headed, but it does seem like DeFi season is the next season, which again, if you think Q4 potentially is going to be bullish, the first major leg of a bull market, if BTC is to break out, what altcoin sector would make sense getting a repricing? I do think it would make a lot of sense that it would be DeFi. So that is kind of where we're hanging our hats at this moment. Check out my links down below. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.